To me, my art is a moment in time. I wanted to capture something I loved, a color that I loved, something that I could hold forever. When I started painting, I did acrylics, and I used to call them dreamscapes, where I would come home from work and I did big pictures so that I would just sit and get lost in the picture. And to me, that was a dreamscape. It would allow me to escape from the stresses of the day or whatever problems were going on, and it would give me peace. And so I incorporated, when I paint, I incorporate peaceful music. I have a fountain, and all of this goes into my pictures. Eye of the Tiger is the one that I entered in this year's piece. And to me, it was a phenomenal painting because I had never painted an animal before. There are just certain things outside my grasp and technique, and hair is one of them. People are another. I try to stay away from people. I cannot draw people. But I got excited by seeing a picture of a tiger in the National Geographic, and he was so perfectly camouflaged in his environment that all you saw was his eyes, and just those eyes gazing out at you. It was a feeling you almost could not explain. One way I would explain it is, if you've ever been to San Francisco Zoo, and it's feeding time for the big cats, and for some reason that building just reminds me of a fish market, you know, with the tiles, but the acoustics in it, when the cats roar as one, that power, you're frozen to the spot. You can feel the power of these jungle animals, and the only thing between you and them are those bars, and boy, are you glad they're there. But I can remember being rooted to the spot. I couldn't move if I wanted to, but just being mesmerized and my whole body still. I know what those gazelles feel like when the lions are chasing them, you know, that feeling. And when I saw this photograph of the tiger, and the power was in his eyes, it wasn't in the stripes of his body or how he was lying or anything like that. It was just the power speaking to me from the eyes. So I started to paint it. And it just so happened that in a book they were explaining how you do animals' eyes. I said, gee, I can do that. Look at all those great colors, about 4 or 5 colors. I said, well, I can do that, and let me practice. And so the very first, I started with just the eye and created the cat around the eye. When I got done, he scared me so bad. I started drawing in leaves and kind of covering him up because he was really frightening looking. And I said, that's probably going to scare a lot of people. If it's scaring me, it's going to scare somebody else. So I started, it's a jungle series, so I started putting in the big green leaves and whatnot, but left just his eye. And I said, I'll let everybody else imagine what the rest of him looks like. And when I got done, I had captured the power, my moment in time, just his eye. You want me over there?
Yeah, sure. So which of these pieces do you like the best?
The pig.
Which one?
The pig. Of course, because it's me.
Can you tell me about it?
Sure. When I do art, sometimes I get real serious. And so the pig came to me because we went to the state fair, and we happened to see these laughing pigs. And I said, I've got to do one. I've got to do one. So I came home, and I did the pig, and it just reminded me of me. And so that's how that one, so that's my little whimsical part. But as far as colors, mostly the flowers. I love putting colors together that don't necessarily go together, and just the power of letting the colors speak to who's ever looking at it. So really, I love all of them.
So do you remember was there like a specific pig that you
Well,
saw?
there was this.
Was there an actual story of what you saw?
Well, it was the first time.
As a source of inspiration.
Right. Anyway, it was the first time I had gone to the state fair. Then living in Ohio, you would think I've gone to the state fair my whole life, but no, California was the first time I had gone, and I saw the pig races. And there was this one little pig. He was just trying his heart out, but everybody was just bigger than he was, but he was just chugging along. So he was kind of my inspiration. And then I saw the laughing pigs in stone. And I said, I have to do a pig. I have to remember. Because to me, my art is a moment in time, capturing a moment in time. And so I wanted to capture the strength of that little guy for just keeping in there and keep going. But the whimsical part of me coming out too. So that's how he came to be.
Thanks, that's a really cute story. Yeah, I see these are very bold. That's really beautiful. It really captures your attention,
Well,
my attention.
I either get inspired by the line of something. It might just be the shape of something, or a line that I see in a flower, or just the color. Sometimes just a color that I've seen. And that's what I try to put out on paper. And just letting it flow. So lots of times I may have an idea, and then the painting just takes over from that. And I like watercolor because it's so versatile and it dries quick. So I have worked in oils and I have worked in acrylics, but watercolor was my medium. And the minute I tried it, I was at home. And so I've done it in different ways. Sometimes I'm real light with it, like in the collages. And then sometimes I'm really bold with it. And to let people see that watercolor isn't always pale and transparent, that it can be vibrant and grab you just by the strength of the color.